So Muhammad number 1 and Muhammad number 2 tried to commit a terror attack in New York City, right outside of Gracie Mansion, where New York City Mayor Zohran Mamdani lives. What will his response be? Let's talk about it. How's everybody doing? My name is Anthony Brian Logan, and today we got to talk about the attempted Islamic terror attack in New York City, right outside of Gracie Mansion, which is where New York City Mayor Zohran Mamdani lives. And when this attempted attack happened, he was at home. Now, we're going to get into what he said about this a little bit later. But first things first, this was an anti-Islam protest put on by Jake Lang. Now, I understand the sentiment because Islam can be dangerous. It is what it is. I'm not saying every Muslim's going to be a terrorist. I'm not saying you guys are going to condone terrorism. I'm not saying that, but everyone knows, and when I say everyone, I mean the entire world. It doesn't matter. North America, South America, Africa, Europe, Asia, Middle East, Antarctica, Australia, Polynesia. It doesn't really matter where human beings are. If there's Islam, there is a threat of terror, whether it be a high threat like Iran right now or a small threat like China or somewhere like this. But there's always a threat, and everybody knows it. Having said that, Jake Lang, the organizer of the anti-Islam protest here, is a troll. He is a pest. He is, in my opinion, a plant. Might even be a federal agent. Do not take this guy seriously at all. Guys like me that cover news and we watch guys like this, we know what kind of a clown he is. Okay. Now, before I go any further, let's get straight into a few clips. Of course, I will link to everything in the description box if you want to see it and hear it without my commentary. If you're on IG, Facebook, etc., visit the link in the bio, go to the corresponding article on the website. But without further ado, let's go ahead and roll it.
We were born and raised in New York, and we want everyone here to stay in New York. You don't get to come from outside and then tell everyone else.
Now, this was a crazy video. Let's break it down. As this man's talking about, hey, we love everyone. You can't come from the outside and tell us to not have certain people here. Right when he says that, what happens? Right over his shoulder. Right over his shoulder. Allah Akbar. And thank God that didn't blow up. Oh my goodness. If that would have blown up, you would have had a lot of problems. This is a shrapnel bomb. There's all kind of debris. It's like a glass container, and there's all kind of debris. You're talking about rocks and screws, and the glass itself, when it breaks, would have been shrapnel. If it would have exploded, let's say in the center of a crowd of people, they all could have died. If it's 8 people right there, they all could have died or been very, 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 very badly injured. Thank God that this device did not explode. Okay. Thank God for that. Now, I don't know what's going on because I feel like people have just let their guard down. Because if I see somebody talking about Allah Akbar and they throw in the bomb and they run away, I'm not going to be like, oh, I wonder what that is. Is it a bomb? Oh, man, look. As soon as I hear that Allah Akbar, I already know what time it is. Prepare to die, run, evade, seek cover, do something. Okay, now here is the actual bomb. Okay, that's the device right there. See the little fuse, and then you see it's wrapped in duct tape, and you see like it's like a mason jar type situation going on with all kind of debris inside. If that thing would have blown, you see some of the debris right there. See the screws right here? Okay, so you would have had stuff like that. See, it's 1, 2, 3, 4. You would have had stuff like that flying all over the place. And if you're right there within the vicinity of it, it's like getting hit with a shotgun. It would have damaged a lot of people very badly. Now, let's get to the news story right here to get more information about what's happening. Then we're going to get into Muhammad number 1 and Muhammad number 2, who did this attempted terror attack. And of course, these are rich kids from Pennsylvania, Bucks County, by the way. We'll get to that in a minute. Check it out.
Now to the latest on those protests that happened outside of Gracie Mansion. There was chaos today when 2 groups of protesters clashed. And now the bomb squad is looking into whether 2 devices that were ignited and thrown during all of this were actually real explosives. 6 people have been arrested, but at last check, no charges have been filed. And as News 4's Charles Watson reports, Mayor Zohran Mamdani was inside of his home at the time.
Tensions boiling over into the streets outside of Gracie Mansion Saturday afternoon. This as protesters led by far-right wing personality Jake Lang and counter-protesters went toe-to-toe at what the NYPD says was supposed to be an anti-Islam protest led by Lang.
There was a lot of yelling back and forth, and then it just kind of erupted into a fight.
At a press conference, Police Commissioner Jessica Tisch says the NYPD had initially split the groups into two separate protest areas. She says the situation started to get out of hand shortly after noon when a protester from the anti-Islam group pepper sprayed a counter-protester. About 20 minutes later, Tisch said an 18-year-old counter-protester was spotted lighting an unspecified device and throwing it toward an area where protests were happening. When that device hit a barrier and extinguished, authorities say a 19-year-old gave the same counter-protester another device who allegedly lit it, ran with it, before eventually dropping it.
And the devices appear to be a jar wrapped in black tape, importantly with nuts, bolts, and screws, along with a hobby fuse.
The NYPD sweep.
That is a shrapnel bomb. That is what they call an improvised explosive device, also known as an IED.
In the area while the bomb squad plans to test the devices to determine their authenticity. In total, police say 6 people were arrested. We've learned Mayor Zohran Mamdani was home when this all happened. His office releasing this statement on the chaos, writing, quote, "The crusade against Islamification gathering held outside Gracie Mansion today by Jake Lang, a vile white supremacist, was despicable and Islamophobic. Thankfully, the mayor and the first lady are both safe, though the events are a stark reminder of the threats they both face regularly." As the dust settles, News 4 contributor and former NYPD Chief of Department Terry Monahan says the police will certainly be looking into how to prevent scenes like this in the future.
Now your fear is the next time there's a protest, who's going to show up? Are more people going to show up? Are more elements going to try and escalate the violence?
Charles Watson, News 4 New York.
And law enforcement sources familiar with this investigation confirmed to News 4 tonight that the FBI's Joint Terrorism Task Force has joined this investigation. They also say 2 of the men arrested are from Pennsylvania and that law enforcement is now heading there to speak to their family.
All right, there we go. So let's keep on going here. Let's keep on going. Now, here is Muhammad number 1 after being detained by the federales, throwing the ISIS Islamic terror index finger, as they always do. See, there you go right there. That's what they do. Whenever you see that, that's like their, type B, Allahu Akbar. That's what they do.
Why'd you throw the bomb? Why'd you throw it?
All right, there you go. So Muhammad number 1 and Muhammad number 2. That's not really their names, but it really don't matter. It might as well be, because that's pretty much what it is. Now, look, here we go. Parents of alleged ISIS-loving New York City bomb thrower own a $2.5 million Pennsylvania home are naturalized citizens from Afghanistan. How surprising. How surprising. How surprising. And the thing about it is, your parents came from that particular place where all this kind of barbaric stone age stuff is happening, to come to America to provide a better life for you. And what do? Allahu Akbar. They got radicalized here, and then they had made trips over there to become radicalized some more. This is the same thing that was going on during the 9/11 time. Yeah, rich kids from Toronto going over to, random Hedistan, random nowhere stand, Middle East, and becoming radicalized to become cannon fodder for the Islamic religion. The parents of one of the alleged ISIS-loving mopes who tried to detonate an IED near Gracie Mansion on a gorgeous $2.25 million home, a sign they seized the American dream after arriving from Afghanistan decades ago. Alleged bomber Ibrahim Qayyumi's family home is a 5,800 square foot manse with 6 bedrooms, 5 bathrooms, and scenic Newtown, Pennsylvania. Again, Bucks County, right where Trump got hit. Police said that Qayyumi, 19, and his friend Emir Balat, 18, traveled from their Bucks County enclave to attend a counter protest against right-wing nut Jake Lang's anti-Muslim protest outside the mayor's residence. So, I mean, for real, you could blame Jake Lang for this, because Jake Lang, think about Jake Lang, he does stuff like this just to get attention, just to kind of go viral. And now you had an attempted terror attack that could have killed a lot of people. Now, I'm not trying to say that it's his fault that these guys got radicalized, but you're poking the bear. You're most certainly poking the bear. And if you go out there to a thing like this, be ready for the bear to bite you. Now, here is Zoran's statement about the whole situation. Will he condemn radical Islam? Don't hold your breath.
Two men, Amir Balat and Ibrahim Qayyumi, traveled from Pennsylvania and attempted to bring violence to New York City. They are suspected of coming here to commit an act of terrorism. There is video of these two individuals throwing two devices towards the protest. The police department has determined that these were improvised explosive devices made to injure, maim, or worse. Thanks to the swift and decisive actions of NYPD officers at the scene, both men were immediately taken into custody, and the devices they brought taken off of our streets. I want to commend the officers who were on site. They faced a chaotic situation that very quickly could have become far more dangerous. NYPD Chief Aaron Edwards and Sergeant Luis Navarro ran towards the danger so that others could run to safety. They are here with us now, and I want to thank them today publicly as I did yesterday privately, and to thank the dozens of other officers who responded without hesitation. That is courage, that is selflessness, and I'm deeply grateful to both of them and to every member of the NYPD who works every single day to keep New Yorkers safe. As the NYPD continued their investigation yesterday, they found a third suspicious device in a vehicle on East End between 81st and 82nd Street. Out of an abundance of caution, they conducted a number of limited evacuations of nearby buildings before removing the device from the area. Once the device was removed, those evacuated were allowed to return to their homes. I am grateful for their continued work to keep New Yorkers safe.
All right, there we go. So that is a statement from Zoran Mamdani. Not much about condemning radical Islam, but as I close, I want to say this. Be vigilant. Be aware. If you hear the Allahu Akbar, you seeing somebody running, you seeing somebody that's suspicious, be prepared, because these guys exist and they are dangerous. And again, not all Muslims, but everyone knows what I'm talking about. Whether you Christian, Muslim, whatever religion you are, if you're not religious, everyone knows the risk. And if you don't know the risk, now you know. But I think I'll leave that right there for now. And what say you? What's your opinion on this attempted terror attack out there in New York City? Do you think it was a false flag? It was a fake thing? Do you think it was a real thing? Whatever your thoughts are, let me know in the comments below. You guys know where I'm at. I mean, this is just what they do. It is like, ain't no sense in me trying to like sugarcoat it. This is what they do. Muslims will do this. It don't matter where you are. It don't matter what language you speak. It don't matter nothing. The color of the person, they could be Asian Muslim, white Muslim, black Muslim, green Muslim, blue Muslim. It don't matter. This is a risk. However, the majority of them, they're totally peaceful. They do all that, right? Until Allahu Akbar. Now you got a problem. Now you got a problem. But whatever your thoughts are, please let me know in the comments below. And that's all I got to say for this video. If you like what you heard, please comment, rate, share, and subscribe. Peace.